Overall business, it's around $2 million cash collected.
Meet Oscar Owen, a magician who's grown his channel to 1.5 million subscribers, made over $1 million from YouTube, and now helping others do it too. In this episode, Oscar breaks down exactly what creators need to make money on YouTube.
The real money is made when you send people from your video to your actual program and start generating leads that way.
The harsh truth about ad revenue.
In order to make $300,000 from YouTube, you have to get 327 million views. You wouldn't do it.
And the step-by-step process needed to build a profitable channel, even if you get low views.
One of my clients, his name's Will Brown, and he's doing around $500,000 a month. And he only averages between 5 and 10,000 views per video.
So yeah, you've blown your own magic channel. You're about to hit 1.5 million subscribers, and now you're helping other YouTubers do it too. For small creators out there wanting to start a YouTube channel today, what would you advise someone to do?
When it comes to starting a YouTube channel, I always tell people to follow the 3-part framework, which is attract, educate, convert. So what you want to do is, if you're trying to build a channel that not only gets you views and subscribers, but also attracts people who also want to work with you and buy from you, if you can attract the right people to your channel, if you can educate them and actually solve real problems for these people, and then if you can convert them from viewers into buyers, that's how you basically, the overall framework to building a channel that builds your personal brand, gets you views, subscribers, but also makes you money. So what we can do, if you want, we can break down some of these steps in a bit more practical detail, if that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I guess if you're a small creator, the first thing I would say is you've got to stop looking at like the big creators like Mr. Beast and Ryan Trahan and going, oh, they're doing this thing, so I will also do what they're doing. Because most of the time, what they're doing won't be applicable to you and your channel because you're just in a different stage of your journey. So what I always recommend people do when they start out a brand new YouTube channel is, before you worry about the how do I make a good video? How do I do thumbnails? How do I do titles? You've got to get so crystal clear on the who. Who is it that you're actually trying to attract to your channel? And who is your ICP, which basically means your ideal customer profile. So the first thing I would do if you're brand new to YouTube or you're just starting out is sit down and literally spend a day writing out who your dream viewer is, who your dream client is even, and know what their pains are, their goals are, their age, their gender, their demographics, their location, things they're searching into the YouTube search bar, because all of this stuff that you do informs your content strategy going like further on in the journey. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah,
so
that makes
people
sense.
get so obsessed over like, oh, thumbnails and titles and this and this. And to be honest, you can come up with an amazing video idea with an amazing title and thumbnail. But if that's for the wrong audience and your messaging isn't clear, it doesn't matter if you get 1 million views, because if those 1 million views are from children and you're trying to attract like, adults to your channel, then it's still like a bad video. So always start off from the who are you making videos for, before you worry about the how.
Let's deep dive a bit more on that. So how do you find the who, right? Like, some people are thinking, should I go more for my passion, or should I go more for my career, or should I go more for money, or for the fun of it? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there's like 3 types of channels. I think there's entertainment channels, hobbyist channels, and education channels. So entertainment channels, again, is like Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan. I'm not going to lie, I've worked with so many people over the years, and maybe 1% of them actually want to do like prank videos or crazy experience videos. Most of the time, they're either a hobbyist or an educational YouTuber. If you're a hobbyist, then realistically, you're just uploading videos for fun, so you don't need to worry too much about this YouTube strategy stuff. So in which case, most people wanting to do YouTube are trying to educate a particular group of people on a certain problem. Obviously, that's basically what most people are doing. So if that is the case, really figuring out your who, as you just said, is so important. So how do you actually go about doing that? Firstly, is to define what your channel's status is. And most people, you're probably an educational YouTuber. Step 2 is then to get, as I just said, super specific on who it is you're actually trying to target. So that's all the things I just listed earlier. So like demographics, location, age. And the way in which I like to think about it is, most of the time, the people you're trying to attract, if you're trying to educate them on something, is just you, but like 5 years ago, right? So if you're really trying to solve real problems for real people and develop a personal brand that's unique to you, if you just speak to yourself, but you 5 years ago, that's kind of, generally speaking, the best path for your channel to go down. So that's the kind of mindset I'd have when it comes to kind of defining what your channel is actually about. And the other thing I always tell people to do is have a channel vision. So the statement that you should fill out in your head, or write this down, is, I help ideal viewer transition from pain point to goal so they can have a certain outcome. So in my case, for my magic channel, I help beginner magicians go from knowing nothing about magic and often just not knowing how to socialize with other people to being really good magicians so they can become the life of the party. That's like the channel vision for my magic channel. And when you can get really clearly defined on that, it kind of, again, informs all the content you make going forward on that channel, because you're thinking about your end viewer in mind. You're not just focused on the views, you're focused on the viewer. And focusing on the viewer is so much more important than just the most number of views you can get.
And once you know your who, then what do you do?
Cool. Yeah. So once you know your who, once you know exactly who it is you're targeting, then you start thinking about the how. How am I going to make videos that reach this specific person? And that really comes down to the whole ideation process: titles, thumbnails, scripting, editing, uploading, analytics, and reviewing. So that's the process that, like, I guess most people focus on, and we can start breaking some of that down in just a second. But the bit everyone forgets, because I've worked with so many creators, and they come to me and they're like, oh, I'm trying to make these videos and they're not hitting, or I'm getting no leads, or I'm attracting the wrong people. And it's just, most of the time, people haven't spent time really figuring out who they're actually trying to target. So it's just like taking random shots at a target, but you don't know what the target actually is. So once you know the who, then we can think about the how. And the how, the first thing you need to do is ideation and packaging. So I use 1 of 10. That's not a plug. You haven't told me to say this, but I genuinely use 1 of 10 for basically most of my ideation process. But the way in which I use 1 of 10 is I will come up with a video idea. I'll be looking for videos, through the outlier method, and I'll be using the different filters. But I'm always trying to think, will this video idea attract my ideal viewer? That's like the guiding logic you've got to have, because it's very easy to use 1 of 10 and be like, oh, this is a banger video. Mr. Beast made a video which is like $1 experience versus $1 million experience. Oh, I could make a video which is $1 magic trick versus $1 million magic trick. But the problem with that, this is just an example for me, is that's just an entertainment-y type of video. But my magic channel is a business. So I'm trying to attract not just people who want to watch a kind of entertaining video. I want to attract serious people who actually want to invest in their magic. So making a kind of sensationalized video like that isn't a good idea. However, if I find an outlier video and it's very specific, teaching a specific move for my ICP, then I can then take that video idea, put my own spin on it, make it unique to me, and then run with that idea instead. So when it comes to doing ideation, what I always say, even using 1 of 10, take the idea as a starting point. You can come up with an amazing video idea, but then you've got to mold that idea to your ICP, to your ideal viewers, so it attracts the right people to your channel.
And that's why we built 1of10.com, a tool that helps creators like you do the same, but 100 times easier. The tool helps you find viral video ideas already working in your niche. It then analyzes the millions of outliers in the database to help you generate your titles and thumbnails that match your channel. For example, it can create thumbnails in the style of Beluga, or even create variations of thumbnails from just a title. And this works in any niche. No more wasting hours brainstorming concepts and designing on Canva. And one creator even used 1 of 10 to combine a viral idea with a high-performing thumbnail concept. The result? Her most viewed video ever with over 2 million views. And the best part? With code POD20 you'll get 20% off for life. So if you want to grow your channel faster, join thousands of YouTubers and head over to 1of10.com. Now back to the pod. Maybe we can use your channel as an example and look at, let's say, the most popular videos, see how you ideated the title, thumbnail idea.
So what I want to do, I want to give you an example of this video here. So this is a video I made 3 months ago. It's got 700,000 views. And this is the title, this is the thumbnail, and it's 5 visual card tricks anyone can do. Now, I didn't just sit down and be like, oh, I'll make a video which is 5 visual card tricks anyone can do. Instead, what I did was I used 1 of 10 and I used different outlier methods to come up with this video idea. So the first thing I did, I can't find it on 1 of 10 now, but I can show you the channel I got this idea from because it came up on 1 of 10. It was this channel here, which is one of, like, I guess you could say a competitor or someone else in the magic niche. And I was using 1 of 10 basically to find some of his most popular videos. And you can see 1 year ago, he made a video which was 3 easy magic tricks for the bar anyone can do, day 7. And this is at 138,000 views. It's one of his most popular videos. And what I did was I looked at this and I was like, okay, obviously this video idea is really good. But I didn't want to obviously copy his video idea and just do 3 easy magic tricks for the bar anyone can do. And the second thing is going back to what I talked about earlier, my ICP, the people who really want to learn magic from me, they want to learn mainly card tricks, right? Because if you literally go to my website, which is where I send people, my hero product, the first thing that people land on is learn card magic in 90 days. So if I start making videos around bar tricks, it doesn't attract the right people to my channel, which is kind of what I was telling you about earlier. So I'm really thinking about this is a video, like a viral video idea, but then I think about the who, and the bar part doesn't really work with my channel. So I basically took the video idea and I just adapted it for my ICP. So 5 visual card tricks anyone can do revealed. And then the actual thumbnail itself, this is a kind of a concept that I did come up with, but I remember coming up with this concept because I came across this dude here. And again, I looked at his most popular videos, 11 million views. And this again is like a magic channel. And a lot of his videos, as you can see, there's always a hand, always a hand, always a hand, and something like floating or something up front. And what I realized by studying his channel is when you have like a really visual trick up front with a hand, it just gets loads of views. So again, what I did was I was like, okay, how can I showcase this magic trick on a thumbnail? And I basically came up with this. Now, funny enough, this entire thumbnail is AI generated. That's a story for another day. So that's not a real photo at all, but it looks so realistic. And then, yeah, I did a bit of simple text saying gone. And that's kind of the ideation side behind how I came up with a video that has nearly 700,000 views, has brought in tens of thousands of dollars to my channel in terms of leads, because everyone who watches this gets funneled to this program. And then from there, I basically sell my different courses and whatnot. So that's really the ideation process behind doing everything.
That's a video that got a couple 100,000 views, and that brought tens of thousands of dollars in lead gen, right? But let's say for your most viewed videos, you've had like over 10 million views video. Let's say that 16 million views. I'm curious, again, how did you ideate here? And then what kind of lead gen it led for your business?
Yeah, really good question. So the first thing you can see here is I've got a style that works. So this is something that a lot of people get worried about. They're like, oh, if I make a video and the thumbnail, can I copy and paste the thumbnail? And the answer is literally look at all of my most popular videos. They followed the same exact style, right? And really, when it comes to ideation, you've just got to know your market inside out. You've got to know exactly who you're targeting and what kind of stuff they're looking for. So I teach beginner magicians how to learn magic, and it's got to be simple and easy to do. That's what they're looking for. So as you can see in these titles, it's always something visual. It's always simple. So like with hands only, it means they can just learn it now. Visual card tricks anyone can do. And they always like the word visual. They want something that's simple, easy, visual. And you can see that my thumbnails and title reflect that. But the only reason I know that is because I've actually spent time in the who section really figuring out who my ICP is and what they want to watch. So that's the first thing. The next thing when it comes to ideation, this is kind of specific for me, but basically the only reason someone will ever click on one of your thumbnails is because that thumbnail builds curiosity. That's the only reason someone will ever click on one of your thumbnails. Now, curiosity can be built through either 2 emotions, either fear or desire. And what I always try and do is hinge on the desire factor. So people see these thumbnails and they go, how is that possible? How is the coin melting into his hand? How is the pen floating? How is the cigarette floating? How is his finger coming off here? And that's what's going through my head when I'm ideating these thumbnails. How can I increase the amount of curiosity in the thumbnail itself? That's basically, curiosity gap is just the difference between what a viewer currently knows and what they want to know. And the bigger you make that gap, the more curiosity you build, the more likely someone is to click on the video. Now, the only caveat here is if you go too far, you basically develop clickbait. So you'll notice that in all of these videos, I will then teach the thing that you're seeing here. So in this video, I will have a floating card effect. In this video, I do have an effect with fire on your hand. In this video, I show you how to vanish a coin, right? So it's not clickbait. Like this one here, I show you how to push a pen through your arms. If you make a thumbnail like this and you don't deliver the expectation that the thumbnail and title promised, people click on and then they click off. So whatever your thumbnail and title are, you need to deliver on that promise as well. Does that also make sense?
I'm curious, when we see those types of views, like how fast do those views go that high? Let's say 16 million. Can we see the graph?
Right. So this is one of my videos. It's got 14 million views. You can see this.
Whoa! What is that?
Yeah, you can see here just a huge
vertical. What is that?
The algorithm saw it, so it was on about 500,000 views, and then in a couple of days, it literally went from there to there, and then over time it just grows. And this is the thing: like people look at that and they go, "Oh, $25,000, that's a lot of money." But what people don't understand is a video like this. Literally, it leads people straight to my course, and 14 million people landing on your course. The real money is not made in the analytics. The real money is not made in Google AdSense. This is just like for me, this is a nice bonus, and it's something that self-funds the channel, self-funds my team, and that's amazing. The real money is made when you send people from your video to your actual program and start generating leads that way. It's a bit of a mindset switch that people need to have. They see big numbers like this and they go, oh, damn, if I start doing YouTube, I can start making money from AdSense and whatnot. But like, I mean, this video's got 14 million views, and actually 25K for 14 million views isn't actually that much. There's channels, if this was a finance channel, this would be over $100,000 for sure, right? So for most people, if you want to start being profitable on YouTube and actually start making money, again, focusing on the number of views is not always the best thing to do. You need to be way more focused on the viewer, because this video is made well over $100,000 for my business purely through sending people to my actual courses and programs and everything I sell on the back end. So the most important thing you've got to do is, again, who are you making videos for? Make videos that attract the right audience, not just a big audience. And then from there, those people are going to be so much more likely to actually want to work with you, click on the links, and actually buy your programs. But it all, again, starts from the who. Because again, if this was just like an entertainment-y video with me walking around performing magic tricks, right? I'd attract this really big generic audience of people who aren't looking to learn magic. And the video could have 14 million views, but I probably would get like maybe 20 sales, if that, because it's just the wrong audience. So you'll notice on my channel, for example, I never perform magic. It's not because I don't perform magic in real life. It's just because this is a business for me. This isn't like an entertainment-y hobby thing. And if I perform magic, I just attract the wrong audience to my channel, not the right audience. So that's like another mindset thing for people to think about when it comes to creating content.
So how much have you made with this business funneled by YouTube? Let's say you've had over 300 million views. How much have you made lifetime?
I'll show you now. And this is the thing. This is the bit that's going to blow people's mind, because it's not actually that much. If I go to analytics and I go to see $3,000 a month, and my channel is averaging 250,000 views per month. So again, if you're trying to do YouTube and you're trying to think, oh, I'll just make money from AdSense, like you need to earn $3,000 a month. I know this is dependent on different niches and stuff, but I'm only making 3K, which is awful. But in the last 7 days on my channel, it's done over $80,000. I've got a video I've just uploaded to my business channel showing this, showing all the screenshots, all the proof, all the videos and stuff. But it's done over $80,000 from my card magic courses and high ticket magic coaching programs. So this is like maybe another mindset shift for people. It's like, just this here is not how much, like no one, like this doesn't mean anything. I can go lifetime and it's about 300K, I think. But yeah, $300,000, which is, it's cool. I'm very, very grateful for the money. But if you have to, if I said to you, in order to make $300,000 from YouTube, you have to get 327 million views, you wouldn't do it. But this channel has made multiple seven figures with a very lean team of like 3 people, about 92, 93% profit margins, because I've monetized the back end in a way that actually attracts the right people to my products and services. I do sound like a broken record here saying the same things over and over again, but it's just the number of people who come to me and they go, oh, I want to do YouTube, I want to make money and all that stuff. This isn't where the money's made. The money is made on the back end by attracting the right people to your channel.
So you've made $300,000 with 300 million views. How much did you make with the business for magic?
Yeah, great question. So the overall business is around $2 million cash collected. Now that's obviously taxed. That's obviously, I've got to spend money on my team. I've got softwares and stuff. So that's not 2 million, just pure profit. But that's the rough amount from a channel of this size. And the other thing you've got to remember is I'm teaching magic. And magic, in the nicest possible way, is quite a low value skill. For example, like one of my clients, his name's Will Brown, and he's doing around $500,000 a month. And it's because he's just teaching a much higher value skill. And he only averages between 5 and 10,000 views per video. But because he's got such a good back end with a very high ticket product, and he solves a real problem for an audience who are willing to pay that amount of money, he can churn over $500,000 a month easily from his channel, just because he's targeting the right people. So it's funny because with my magic channel, I sometimes don't like giving it as an example, because people often look at this and they go, well, obviously you've made this money because you've got 1 million subscribers. But the truth is, I can promise you there are channels out there who have millions of subscribers and they're broke. They genuinely make money because they haven't figured out how to actually monetize the back end. And when it comes to people to doing YouTube, I really think you need to make the decision, are you a hobbyist or are you a business owner? Because if you're a business owner, you need to start treating YouTube like a business. And the way in which you treat YouTube like a business is you create content for your ideal viewer, specifically for them. You solve real problems for them. And then what you start doing is you create videos that actually convert viewers into buyers. And I think, like, if I quickly touch on that, one of the biggest problems people have is they make all this content, they start getting all of these like views and whatnot, but they have no idea how to build an audience of people who actually want to buy from you. And there's a couple of different techniques I recommend people follow. The first thing you need to do is which I think is the most important, is you need to get your call to actions right in your YouTube videos. When you don't tell people what the next logical step is, aka to go and visit your backend, to go and visit your website, people just don't go and do the thing. So what I recommend people do is in every single video, if you're trying to leverage that video as a way to get leads for your business, have at least 2 call to actions in that video itself. The first call to action should be roughly 1/3 of the way through the video, because the retention curve, people drop off. And if you only leave it to the very end, even if a video gets, let's say, 10,000 views, but you've got 20% of people watching it, only 2,000 people saw your call to action. So I always recommend people put their first call to action to their website, to their lead magnet, to whatever it is they're trying to sell, around 1/3 of the way through the video. And that way, if it's a good video, maybe 60 to 70% of people will actually see that call to action. And then the second call to action does go near the end. And the reason for that is Stanford released a study that said if you give 2 call to actions in basically any part of marketing, people are 4 times more likely to do that thing. So 2 call to actions mean people are so much more likely to actually start clicking the link in the description and actually going to check out your products or services. The next instant hack I can give you, and this is something we did with Will Brown, and this took his call bookings from around 10 per day to nearly 15, 16, 17, is moving your call to action links to the very, very top of your description. Now, I know this sounds so basic and it sounds so dumb, like, well, why would that actually impact it? But you've got to remember with YouTube, you're doing everything at scale. So even if your channel overall each month, forget 250,000 views like my magic channel, if is getting 50,000 views per month on your channel, where you place your call to actions is so important. And if you place it at the very top of the description, it means it's there, it's visible, and more people are likely to actually click on the thing. If you place it any lower than the top, there's the see more button and it goes below the fold. Yeah. And it's one extra step that people need to take. So on my magic channel, put it this way, because everything is done at such scale, when I moved my call to actions from the bottom to the top of the description, the lead flow nearly doubled to my website. That's how big the change was. And then with someone like Will, we added nearly 5 booked calls, I think it was a day, to his channel, which for him, because he's got a $25,000 product, that's added over 6 figures to his business by making that very, very tiny change. That's one of the hacks, I would say, that anyone watching this can instantly do to start turning more of their viewers into actual buyers.
So once the person does a call, right? I'm sure your system behind the scenes is well polished. How do you bring a viewer to then a sale at the end of it? What's your funnel like?
Yeah, really good question. So for me, I've been doing it for a long time. So people are much smarter than me and all this stuff. I've just paid them to do it on my behalf. But for new YouTubers, the easiest thing you can do is just set up a Calendly link. So you've got to remember, if you've got a YouTube channel and you've got an educational based YouTube channel, the point of that channel is to solve a problem for your ICP and actually help them out. But if they want implementation of the information that you're giving away for free in your YouTube channel, then a lot of people are going to be willing to spend money for your help, right? That's really how this whole process works, right? So you give away as much value as you can for free. A lot of people will take that information, run with it, and they'll never need your help again. But if you can convert just 0.1% of your viewers into people who want to buy from you, that's all it takes to make a 6-figure business on YouTube, right? That's all you need to do. So the best thing you can do, forget about all these fancy funnels and this and your copywriting and your headlines and stuff. Realistically, if you're making really good YouTube videos, people are kind of sold and they want to work with you before they get to the sales page. So when people are just starting out, what I recommend they do is they just get a free Calendly link. Calendly is just like a software that you can use to book a call on your calendar. And all they've got to do is book a call on your calendar, fill out a few questions, what's your goal, what are your problems, and all that kind of stuff. And you literally sit down and have a chat with this person. And then at the end of it, you just say, look, if you want more help with this thing. So I normally do free chats. Even to this day, I still do free 15-minute calls just so I can really understand what people want. And then if I think I can help them in a meaningful way, we book in a longer time to call, and that's an actual sales call. And I recommend any new YouTuber, you can literally set up in 5 minutes. So that's how I'd go about monetizing your channel in a way that actually starts making money quite literally tomorrow.
Talking about clients you've worked with, what's your biggest win?
I mean, probably the Will Brown one. That was amazing. What's great about people like him is because it's happening at such scale, you can add $100,000, $200,000 to their business with a very small little change, if that makes sense. That's in terms of numbers, but realistically, the people I love working with are also new creators as well, and really showing them the ropes and training them up. So although if I say in terms of big win, okay, they haven't gone and made $100,000 from their YouTube channel yet, it's often seeing them transform from someone who really wants to do YouTube because they want to share their message, but they don't know how to speak to the camera. They're too shy. They're worried about what their friends will think about them. They barely know how to set up everything. And it's seeing them go from those transformations to actually being YouTubers who are confident in themselves. In terms of like numbers and stuff, I mean, on my website, creatorhub.io, I've got all the different people I've worked with. There's people I've worked with who've got, 1,200 subscribers and they're doing $90,000 to $120,000 a month. But again, it's because they've got such niche targeted videos and they're not focusing on getting 1 million views. They're just focusing on getting the right views from the right people. And then they've just got a really good offer on the back end. So that's how they're able to do it. So without boring you to death, all the list of names on my website, there's every single person there essentially.
So back to your magic channel, right? You've had insane views from long forms, but also from short. What was the impact of the shorts on your channel?
So it's funny. It's a funny one. I'm always in two minds about YouTube shorts. And I'll share a quick story with you about what happened with me. I think this was during 2021. I created a YouTube short, and this YouTube short just followed a formula that I'd kind of seen popping around on YouTube, and it ended up getting around 60 million views. So 60 million views, which is more than any video I've ever made for like a 60-second video that honestly took me like an hour to make, if that. Here is the short itself. You can see it got 60 million views. It brought in 127,000 new subscribers. This is kind of before they properly monetized shorts. It was only 2K in sort of revenue. I've kept this short up because for me, this is just a really good case study of what not to do with YouTube shorts. And I tell this story all the time to people I work with. But basically, as you can see, this short literally went 3 million to 21 million views in just a few days. And it just kept going and going and going. And initially when I did this, people were like, Oscar, you've made it. Keep making this kind of content. You could hit 10 million subscribers. You could blow up. But the truth is, this short, kind of circling back to everything that I've talked about, is just revealing a magic trick on like Britain's Got Talent or something. So the ICP, the people watching this, just want more entertainment. And it was basically an army of children watching this who want to know how more magic tricks are revealed, but none of them are interested in actually learning magic. So the story here is basically I uploaded this short. It flooded my channel with around 120,000 new people subscribed to it. And then when I started posting long form content that actually was designed to convert and turn viewers into buyers, as I've always been doing, well, this new audience saw this content because they'd subscribed to me and then clicked on the video and then just clicked right off. And then that signals to the algorithm that this is actually a really bad video. But the reason they clicked off is because they're not my ICP. They're just a random audience of children who subscribed to me from this one viral short. And it developed what is called a split audience, right? So where some people subscribe to you for one thing and another group of people are subscribed to you for another thing. And this tanked my overall views on my channel. It nearly wrecked my business because people stopped watching my main long form content that actually drives the money to my business. And it took me about half a year of uploading constant high value videos to get over this. The reason I share this story with you is people often say, should I then do shorts? Is short form content a good thing or a bad thing? And the answer is short form content can be really, really good, but you've got to do it in the right way that, again, reaches the right kind of people. So I always tell people to follow the 3 C's, which stands for content, color, and caliber. If the actual content of your short is the same as your long form, then that's a good short. You can tick that one off. If the caliber of your short in terms of like video editing and quality is the same as your long form, then that's good. And then if the color is the same, so if it's still the same kind of color scheme, if it's the same kind of branding, then what it will do is it means people will cross-pollinate from your short form content to your long form content. And really, in my eyes, the only goal of a short form video is to attract more long form viewers because shorts are very top of the funnel, right? And I often describe them as a short form video is like a movie trailer and your long form content is like a full movie. Now, no one's ever going to buy from you after watching a movie trailer. So you can just pump out shorts, but no one's ever going to watch your shorts and then want to buy your products or services. They've got to watch your long form content, in which case the purpose of a YouTube short is purely to get more people into the top of your YouTube funnel and send them to your long form videos. And the way you send people to do long form videos, or the right people, is by following those 3 C's: content, color, caliber.
I want to hear more about how shorts almost wrecked your business, right? So you saw a direct correlation of shorts views going up and then your revenue going down and your views going down on long form.
It was basically every video I made after that was like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 on terms of the views. Wow. It was just kind of the comments were flooded by children, because we're talking about 120,000 people. And also that wasn't the only short. There's a few others that had like 30 million views, because I made a whole series of them. So it was probably let's just say 200,000 new subscribers. Yeah. And it was just the wrong audience. It was literally just children subscribing to me. And this is funny. This is like why it's really interesting. There's people on YouTube. I'll use a magic example. There's a guy called Dan Rhodes. Dan Rhodes, I think, has 20 million subscribers on his channel. Yeah. Unbelievable. Like, in terms of the short form world, he's obviously one of the best, right? Yep. He's got a video with like a short form video with like 800 million views. Yep. It's incredible. He will then post a long form video on the same channel, a long form video, and it will barely crack 10,000 views. If he's got 20 million subscribers and can't crack 10,000 views on a long form video. Why? It's because short form content and long form content, if you do it in the wrong way, attract 2 different audiences. So the people who subscribe to his short form content don't want long form content, right? So he can't do that successfully. And what a lot of YouTubers do, they think, I'll get loads of views on shorts, build up my subscriber base, do it really quickly, and then I'll just flip to long form. It doesn't work that way. You've got to start off with long form content. This is what I recommend to everyone. Really focus on long form content, crack it. Then get a system in place that allows you to produce long form content without much of your time and input. Then once you start getting leads and you start building a business and it's going well, that's when you reinvest in maybe a team or someone else to start clipping up your content and doing short form and posting that on your behalf. That's kind of like the process I recommend people follow. But it's just because you develop a split audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Dan's incredible, and everything he's doing. He's a short form guy, so he's not trying to become a long form YouTuber. But he's just a very good example of like 20 million views, but less than 10,000 views on a long form video. Sorry, 20 million subscribers. That's kind of one of the ways in which I think about it.
Talking about the right ICP and the right viewers, you went from also having an audience of people wanting to learn magic to now an audience of learning how to grow on YouTube, right? I'm curious, what made you go in that direction? And
yeah, for me, I mean, I've just been doing YouTube for like nearly 10 years at this point. There's only so many magic tricks I know before. I don't know what to teach. No, really what happened was I've been doing the magic for a long time, and I got to the point with my channel where I just outsourced everything, including the magic. So most of the time, it's not even me performing the magic anymore. It's me introducing it, but I've got script writers, I've got editors, I've got everything. And I can get a month's worth of content done now in about 3 hours, because I'm just sent a script, introduce the video, and then my content manager, editors, they just take care of everything and run the channel on my behalf. And over the last few years of doing this and really just optimizing the channel to the point where I can work on the channel and not in the channel. So I can really optimize the business, really optimize the workflow and the systems and processes. I just had people start reaching out to me saying, hey man, how are you doing this? And what's your system behind everything you're doing? And to begin with, I just started coaching people privately, because I was like, hey, well, this is what I do. This is my system. This is, everything from ideation, but also to the systems and operations of actually running a profitable YouTube channel whilst also running a business, right? So how can you remove yourself from the YouTube channel? That was a lot of sort of penny drop moments for my initial clients. And then from there, I was just like, well, I may as well just teach this publicly, because I'm so passionate about magic, but I'd say the one thing I'm more passionate about is YouTube, because I spend more time obsessing over analytics and this, probably like yourself, Richard, than sort of even learning new magic tricks and whatnot. It was really a thing that I started doing maybe a couple of years ago properly. And yeah, since then, it's just become an obsession. So I've just been helping out as many people as possible, and I really love it. Really, really bloody love it.
What's a common mistake you see beginners doing on YouTube?
Dare I say it, I think mindset. And the reason I say this, whenever I talk about mindset, people's eyes normally glaze over and they're like, oh, come on, I just want to build a YouTube channel. But the truth is with YouTube, it's the hardest platform to crack. It's the hardest platform to crack. And the reason for that is the barrier to entry is so high. And the secret formula to mastering YouTube is so simple. All you need to do to succeed on YouTube is upload one video per week for 52 weeks and improve one thing at a time. If you do that, I guarantee that you will be successful on YouTube. Now, I can't put a subscriber count on that. I can't say how much money you'll make. I can't say how many views you'll make or get. But the one thing I can do is I can guarantee that YouTube will change your life and your business in some way, shape, or form. I've never seen it not happen. One video a week for 52 weeks, you can just prove one thing at a time. And that seems so simple because it is simple, but it's not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because before you make it, before you have that breakthrough video or you build that audience, you've got to fail so many times. And anything else in life, if you upload or if you do anything in life and you fail, 30 times before you succeed, most of the time you just give up and you do something else. But with YouTube, you have to fail that many times before you actually start building your audience. And it's not even failing. It's just learning the craft of doing YouTube. Because to be a YouTuber, you've got to learn how to script, how to film, how to edit, how to upload. You've got to overcome what your family and friends will think about you. There's technical skills, there's speaking skills, there's so many different things you've got to master. And if you get just one of them wrong, the YouTube video most of the time won't work. But let's say you do everything right and your thumbnail's terrible, won't work. You do everything right, but you're really boring on camera and you speak monotone like this and you sound like you're reading a script, it won't work. So what people have to understand is it all comes back to mindset. And you've got to understand that you've got to make those 20, 30 videos that fail before you actually start succeeding. And the best bit of advice I can give anyone is set input goals, not output goals. So what does that actually mean? Don't say, hey, in 6 months' time, I need 50,000 subscribers and 100,000, a million views, because that's an output goal and you can't control that. What you can control is your input. So you can control that every single week you show up and make a YouTube video. That's an input that you can control. You can control the amount of time you put into actually doing YouTube. Hey, every Saturday morning is content day. I sit down and I script and edit and upload a video. That's what you do on Saturday. You can control that because that's an input. And when you start, the input will lead to the output. That's the point. But if you focus on the output goals and be like, oh, damn, this video only got 10 views, I should give up. Well, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Instead, if you focus on the input and you just go back to the formula, one video per week for 52 weeks, and just improve one thing at a time, maybe a better script, maybe a better thumbnail, maybe a better idea, maybe a better whatever, that's how you actually succeed on YouTube.
And before getting into that, let me tell you about how the 1 of 10 strategy team can help you grow your channel much faster and make more money. Our team has directly worked with over 100 YouTubers to grow their channels by optimizing their content, focusing on the right strategies. So for example, here's a video idea, title, and thumbnail that we crafted for Mike Shake that ended up getting 22 million views and being his most popular video of all time. Another example is the content strategy we built for Callaway, helping him go from 0 to 70,000 subscribers and grow a 6-figure business on top of that. And those are only just 2 of many creators the team has worked with in the past 6 years. So if you're ready to take your channel to the next level in the next 90 days with daily support, video reviews, winning ideas, titles, and thumbnails, and even 2 calls per month to answer all your questions, head over to oneofthen.com/strategy to book a call. You have an example of a video that did well for your clients, and if you could break that down on how you got that result?
Yeah, so what I want to do, I'll just quickly break down someone I worked with a few months ago, and this is their channel here. And the reason I think this would be useful is this person here is a business owner. He's not a guy trying to become Mr. Beast. And this channel makes him money, and this channel gets him leads for his business. And the way in which we did it kind of involves everything that we've been talking about so far. So as you can see, his whole thing is he basically helps Australians get finance fast for like their homes. That's his ICP. He's very, very particular and knows exactly who he's targeting, but also specifically in Australia as well. Then what he's done is this is the first ever video we did together. And as you can see, it's basically got 4,000 views. And the reason his first video got 4,000 views is very simply, we worked together. He, followed my frameworks, my systems. So that's one of the fastest ways to sort of cheat code doing YouTube. Find someone who's already done what you want to do and just learn from them. I'm not saying myself, I'm saying any mentor, anyone, model them, copy them, or whatever you want to do. But that's the fastest way to improve quickly and actually start sort of doing YouTube in the right way. And basically, when it came to his channel, what we really wanted to do was attract the right people to his channel, because there's so many people on YouTube talking about property. And man, he could have made a video and we could have really tried to optimize it for views. And it could have been something like him walking around a $10 million property, even if it was in Australia. But that's not going to attract his ICP. That's going to attract a whole bunch of people who are just interested in watching someone do a house tour of a $10 million property. So if you watch his videos, he finds this really wonderful balance between sensationalized, the boring hacks that banks don't want you to know about, which is quite a sensationalized title, but it's also specific for the kind of person he's targeting. And I think that's the real balance there that a lot of people struggle to find. So this one here, very sensationalized thumbnail. I think this is from Veritasium. There's a kind of similar thumbnail to this person's. But why smart investors are leaving Perth. Suddenly, this video is so specific to one area in Australia. And look, it's got 12,000 views. Yeah. So can you see there how he's taking some viral elements of like what makes people click, what actually makes people go on YouTube and click on a video and the whole curiosity thing, but then he's targeting it to his ICP. So, if you're some bloke in South America, you're probably not going to click on this video, right? So by its very nature, he's whittled out people who he's not going to work with and attracted the people he does want to work with. And just to give you some perspective, on this very first video, he uploaded it. I can't quite remember. I don't know what the current stats are because I'm sure over time it's got more views and more leads. But I know he got 4 leads from this and closed a couple of them. And in the property space, that's a lot of money. So that's really all it takes to succeed on YouTube from a financial perspective. Now, remember, he doesn't even have AdSense monetized on this channel. He's too early on in his thing. He's not sitting down going, damn, how do I get 1 million views on my next video? He's just taking video ideas that are proven to work through using outliers, like on 1 of 10 and whatnot. He's playing the YouTube game, but then what he's doing is he's taking it to a specific niche. He knows exactly who he's targeting, what kind of language they use, what kind of things they're looking up, how they're actually trying to, what they're actually trying to find, what their pain points are, what their goals are. And then he's putting that in his videos. So when someone clicks on the video feels like it's actually made for them, and then they want to work with him. And that's really the secret. So that's just like kind of an example, I guess, wrapping up everything that I've talked to you about so far.
Like, a few hundred views, few thousand views doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's super niche into your business, Australia, property, investments, that's it's super niche, but it's also high purchasing power. That allows him to get a few $1,000s per month already.
Oh, more than that. Much more.
More? Okay.
He's got a high ticket offer. So the other thing you've got to remember is a lot of people listening to this might be like, oh, but I don't have anything to sell. Or like, all I'm selling, I've got a $49 ebook, right? Or $29 ebook. So that's almost like another thing that you've got to do. It's one of those things where, of course, if you're trying to look at this holistically and you're just someone who's new, starting on YouTube, there's kind of 2 parts. There's YouTube and your business. And YouTube builds your audience, right? That's kind of the people you're going to start working with. But you also do have to have a business to sell stuff to. And when you hear about people with like 1,000 subscribers making $100,000 a month, it's because they've got an offer on their back end that might be worth $30,000. So all they need is one sale to make $30,000. And you might be listening to this going, but like, what am I going to sell for 30K? You don't have to go down that route. That's obviously very, very extreme. But most people, especially if you're creating a channel that teaches something that is educational, right? Most people do have a skill that they can monetize that people will spend over $3,000 for. I teach magic. Literally have the best example. I teach magic. Who's going to spend $3,000 learning magic? I had that belief in my head for so long. Well, I'd spend maybe $20 learning magic, not $3,000. But here's the thing. You're only thinking about this from your own perspective. And there are people out there, you give the magic example, there are people out there who want to learn magic. They don't want to spend hours going through books or hours going through YouTube. And what they really value is their time. Yep. And if they have to spend $3,000 to learn magic, they will do it. And that's how I literally made $80,000 in the last couple of months on my YouTube channel. I've got a video about this on my business channel. So maybe you can put that on top and show that's how I did it, because there are people who are willing to spend between $3,000 to $10,000 to learn magic from me and my team, because for them, money's not an issue. And what they really want is being able to wake up on Christmas morning and impressing their kids with a magic trick. And that for them is actually worth it. Or becoming a more confident person, walking to any room and being able to amaze anyone with nothing more than 52 bits of paper, in a little box. For them, that's worth it. And, there's people out there who teach knitting, and they're doing like $20,000 to $30,000 a month. So whatever skill you have, I guarantee you that you will be able to charge premium prices for it. Now, again, I know that's a kind of different thing and it's not quite on YouTube, but it's worth just thinking about that now, because again, it comes back to, let's just say you could charge $3,000 for something. The mindset isn't, man, I can't do that. It's more, what would I have to deliver to charge $3,000 for something? $3,000 is kind of like the minimum price you would charge a new client. And if it, what transformation am I going to give someone that would actually make them want to pay this amount of money? And when you can do that, when you get really crystal clear on that, then you figure out who would want that. Then the who informs your YouTube content. And then that's when the whole thing starts. So it's kind of like your offer to your dream client, to your who, to your YouTube content. And that's the process you follow to make really targeted, specific videos that make a lot of money and, from a very small YouTube channel.
What's one piece of advice for someone starting their journey? Let's say going from 0 to 1K sub.
You've got to remember where you are on the journey. So on YouTube, it was harder for me to go from 0 to 1,000 subscribers than it was to go from 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 100,000. And the easiest part, 100,000 to 1 million subscribers. That was the easiest part. The hardest part is going from 0 to 1,000. And the reason for that is momentum. So an analogy I like to use is when a rocket ship takes off, it uses 98% of its fuel just to get the first few inches off the ground. And then for the zillions of miles that it travels afterwards, that's for its final 2% of fuel. And the reason for that is the rocket's got momentum, and YouTube works in exactly the same way. When you first start out on YouTube, it's the hardest part of your journey because A, you've got to learn the craft of being a YouTuber and what it is like to sit down and talk to a camera and do all that. B, you've then got to build an audience. And then C, you've got to have the right mindset, as we talked about earlier, to actually go and do this week on week on week. So when you start out on YouTube, it is by far the hardest part. But knowing that is also really liberating because every video you make, it gets easier. After every single upload, you learn something. And I promise you, if you just commit to making 10 videos, one per week, the video you make on the first day versus the video you make on the 10th week, the one on the 10th week will be so, so much better. And one of the biggest problems people fall into is they fall into the trap of perfectionism. And I always say perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. If you basically think to yourself, but I want to make the perfect video, and you spend 10 weeks making the perfect video, I promise you, the person who spent 10 weeks uploading one video per week, the video they make on the 10th week will be so much better than the one video that you tried to make that took you 10 weeks to make. Because they've had 10 attempts at everything, they've failed 10 times. They've had 10 attempts to do thumbnails, 10 attempts to do titles, 10 attempts to do everything, really, whereas you've only had one shot at it. So for anyone starting out, the most important thing is mindset, set input goals, and just realize where you are in the journey. You're at the very, very start of your YouTube journey. And then from there, each week, every upload, you're going to get 1% better. And with 1% better on every single upload that you make over the course of a year, that compounds. And by the end of the year, man, if you can stick with that one video per week for 52 weeks, upload one, make one improvement at a time, you will be successful on YouTube.
That was beautiful. Well, Oscar, thanks for coming on the 1 of 10 podcast. Is there anywhere people can watch you or read you? Or
Yeah, so if you want to learn magic tricks, just search Oscar Owen. And then if you want to learn YouTube, just search Oscar Owen Business. And you can reach me on YouTube that way. Also on Instagram, my Instagram handle, it's just starting next week, but it's going to be Oscar Business. So I'm just going to be uploading YouTubery content there for anyone who wants to learn about YouTube monetization and stuff.
There you go. Peace.